Well, hey there, how you doing? Dave Fennoy here. Another Wednesday, another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything, and you know that's what it is because there it is right at the bottom there. Yeah, Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. And I got to learn how to do that. It goes one way and the other, and you're looking at yourself backwards and forget all that. So how you doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Reminders right quick. These Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings on my YouTube channel. Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. And if you are interested in voiceover coaching, you can find me at davefennoy.com. You can sign up and you'll be reminded about these every Wednesday, and also any other things that I may be doing teaching-wise. And you can also book yourself for classes. And haven't done it yet, but look out for some Christmas specials coming up in November. Where you'll get some good savings on blocks of voiceover lessons from me that you could take advantage of in 2022. Can you believe it? This year is almost gone. Well, let me introduce my guest. He is one of my favorite people. We don't talk nearly enough. But whenever we do, we end up talking about all kinds of things. And by the way, I asked him today, are there any subjects we can't talk about? And he said, yeah, voiceover. But he was kidding. I know he's kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Erik Sheppard. How you feeling, my friend?
Good. Feeling good.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm encouraging people to ask questions because you are an agent. You've been doing this for a while. You know where the bodies are buried and how they were killed and who killed them. And maybe that's not the metaphor I want to go for, you know? Well, listen, we were talking a little bit. You're from Texas originally, right?
New York. Originally from New York. Yeah, I'm not proud, but yeah.
So how'd you get started in this wacky business? Your resume says you were voice talent at one point. So what happened that you gave it up and became an agent?
You know, I didn't mean to.
It was an accident.
It was kind of. I was coerced. I just kind of fell into it. I didn't fall into voice acting. I fell in love with voice acting. We're psycho about voice acting in the Sheppard household. We got voiceover tattoos. I'm in voiceover. My wife's in voiceover. Get the kids in voiceover. I mean, that's our thing. And I started very, very young. I started when I was about 17. And as you can tell, I'm no longer 17, sadly. But I was in New York, and then I came down to Texas, Austin, Texas, rather, not just Texas, Texas. And was a voice actor here for quite some time, and then went back to New York. There was nothing going on, in Austin as far as the voiceover scene. Not that there's a ton, but it wasn't a hotbed.
Music scene in Austin's great.
Yeah, great. But the acting scene, maybe it was just happening, but I didn't find it, or I don't know. But so I said, let me go back home for a bit. So I wound up back home in New York, and then I wound up being there longer than I thought. But we really got the agency going, and it just became, immense. It was insane. But then finally it got to the point where, I could leave if I wanted to.
Well, listen, did you just start your own agency from scratch, or were you an agent for somebody else first?
I never worked for anybody else. So I never got any training or anything. That's why I never knew what the hell I was doing. I just, it was very organic. I had my own clients who appreciated working with me. And then every once in a while they'd be like, hey, you're great, but do you have, like a female friend that's, higher pitched or whatever? Yeah, I do. I was always very interested in working with other voiceover talent, hanging out with other voiceover talent. I just knew a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And then, hey, that worked out great with that girl and whatever. Do you know a Spanish guy? Yeah, I know a Spanish guy. And that's just kind of how it happened. I knew, had the clients that were looking for talent, and I knew all the dang talent. And it was really just kind of, I had to at that point, put them together. And I was like, do I want to do this? I don't really want to do this. And a buddy of mine was Bruce Jacobson, one of my best friends, was like, dude, are you crazy? Like, I'll beat your ass. I mean, you don't have a choice, who the universe is just telling you. So we did it. And then I called up, a bunch of my voiceover friends. Said, oh, by the way, I'm your agent now. Like, all right, whatever. Like, okay, whatever.
Well, your story is very different than most people. Most people started in the mailroom of some agency and worked their way up, so forth and so on. You started the agency yourself. And from what I have seen, you may not have planned to do this, but I think you are the prototype for the modern agent because you were taking clients from around the country long before I think most people were. Your talent wasn't just in New York. They were talent. You have represented me for 10, 15 years now. And I've got my agent in Los Angeles. I have agents in other places too. But you were one of the first that I think saw and took advantage of the fact that people were having home studios. Of course, those of us who do a lot of TV promos did that first. But now you can't be in the game if you don't have a home studio.
No, we won't rep you. We can't logistically, we can't do it unless, we could, it was kind of exposed a little bit in LA, during the COVID times when it first started and they were having people go remote. LA was the worst because LA, so many folks in LA are used to just going in studio as opposed to almost anywhere else. And you guys couldn't plug in a cable for Christ's sake. So, but, for everybody in the rest of the world, they're used to it. They're used to running their Source Connect and ISDN and, being their own engineer. And, people have been doing it forever. We've had talent that have been remote for so long. They were doing it back when it meant something, when you had to put in, a lot of money and, you had all rack gear and stuff. I still have, how many billions of dollars worth of rack gear we never use anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's, you got one little box you plug into and, that's it. So the cost of entry is plummeted. But back in the day, if you had a studio, plus back then everybody was using ISDN. Nobody trusted Source Connect. So that was a big expense. And, it was to have a broadcast quality studio, you kind of had to be a pro. So that's all we repped were pros. And then, I guess that kind of became, we were known for that and that helped and, everything helped.
So how do you think your business has changed because of COVID? Because of, I know it has to have something to do with more people getting studios, but how's it affected you?
Those first couple months were really rough. We had, it wasn't even so much that new stuff had really slowed down, but there was plenty of things that we had in the can that they pulled. We were getting like these, phone calls kind of like, hey, listen, we got to figure out a session fee, because usually creative is, or sometimes creative is a couple months out. So they're working on stuff, and it's, a bunch of friends meeting up in a restaurant and they're all on the beach, drinking a beer and whatever. And they're like, oh, we can't put this stuff on the air, Some of these companies didn't even know, if they were going to be a company. Are we all going to die? Or what's going to go on? Right in the beginning, it was mayhem. So that was nuts. That was terrible. Having to tell talent and stuff. Yeah, listen, I know you were supposed to get 25 grand for that. And we got 2,500 as like a consolation prize, session fee or whatever. And, that was rough. But then, after a couple months, things kind of stabilized. People realized, yeah, we should probably still be making commercials. I think some of us are going to live. So some stuff that we did, tourism stuff, obviously, we weren't doing a lot of that. We're still not doing a lot of that. We had some sporting stuff that was canceled, so we weren't doing that. But then, like I said, things kind of stabilized, picked back up. Everybody said, all right, let's go back to work a little bit. But even now, a lot of people are still are happy to be in their home studios. So,
Well,
look, we're back to where we were in the beginning, even. And as long as we're still in business, forget COVID. Just being a talent agent right now is so difficult because of the way things are changing. To still be in the black and be doing well, I'm elated. How much better could things be for me?
yeah. Okay. Well, I tell you, I didn't skip a beat. The thing that happened was suddenly you weren't going to anybody's studio. Suddenly, you're getting with your audition. Well, tell us about your studio. What kind of microphone do you have? What's your interface?
Yeah, prove it to me.
Can you send me a sample. And I remember feeling, hey, I've had a studio for 25 years. How come you? But
Yeah, they're messing with the wrong guy, man. You got a whole mic locker.
I do.
I know all the
I
gear
do.
you got.
But I also friends of mine, Bob Bergen, didn't have a real studio. He could audition, but he couldn't really work from it. And I remember speaking with him, and he said, "Oh man, in those first 10 days, I had to do something." And I know some other companies in the video game world that put together packages of portable studios that they would
Yeah.
take it to your house, send you the instructions for setting it up, and go from there. So I know it was a little crazy, but hey, we've got through it, and hopefully, if we all get vaccinated sooner or later, maybe we'll be out of this thing.
Yeah.
So now, I'm a voice actor. I know you guys love us. We are the most wonderful creatures on the planet. But what are some of your pet peeves? I saw that look. What are some of your pet peeves
there was a
about voice actors? What do we do that drives an agent nuts?
Oh man, actors are the
Where do
worst.
I begin?
Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
I know.
Where did we got what, an hour? uh, in the off times that I do wind up talking to other agents, the pet peeves are always pretty much the same, and they never change. Well, I mean, sometimes somebody comes up with some new way to annoy you, but the naming of files, that's always a huge one that always makes us nuts. And we send out, when we send out an audition, there's a name for the file. It's exact every time. We try to make it very clear, and then we try not to be dicks about it, but we're like, listen, it has to be absolutely exact. That's an underscore, not a dash, or vice versa, or whatever. And talent will still, send it in first, last, underscore, whatever, nothing. Listen, we have a couple hundred files to deal with just on this because it's male and female and 15, roles. Plus, we got 20 other things we're getting stuff from, and then all that stuff is going to casting, and they're dealing with us in 5 other agencies. And if you can't name it properly, it makes things a little difficult for us to get you heard.
And it seems like such a simple thing if you have one person to change, but once you have a bunch, and I know on your auditions you say if you don't name this correctly, we're not dealing with it.
Well, you know what it is. Well, I change them. Most of the time we catch
Don't
it,
say
but sometimes
that. You know
we
what's
don't.
gonna happen.
And we use, yeah, I know. Everyone will be like, oh, screw it then. But we use, we've got our own system. Most agents have their own in-house, boop, boop, computerized system or whatever. And then we work sometimes with other folks, and they've got their own systems as well. And if it's off, the system won't even accept it. Like if you send in a WAV file by accident, our system will take it. But then if we're working with like Select VO or something, we'll just, grab a bunch and put them up and not even realize that their system kicked the thing back because you sent in the wrong thing. And if the name is off even one friggin' whatever, that system will kick them all off. So, even if we go nuts and rename everybody who screwed up, while we're cursing at them, there's still stuff that we're going to miss. And even just, technically it's not going to work and you're not going to be heard. And that's, that sucks if you, kind of put your heart into an audition and you don't get heard for something that dumb. Man, it's, and everybody, screws something up every once in a while. But there's, we have repeat offenders that spell their name wrong, and you just please. I wish I was joking. I'm not. Like, that's your name, man. You've had it probably your whole life.
Okay, so getting
That's the
file
biggest
in.
one,
You know,
probably.
one of the things I've noticed now are slates. What people on the other end, the people who are auditioning you, there's a thing, slate or no slate, or where you slate. Um, how is that affecting you guys, especially with the no slate?
I've always tried to do as an agent because I had agents. I had as a regular actor beforehand, and you could have a girl in every port, and so some of them, I had seen the way that they worked, and it would annoy me. Even just from their contracts, you'd have to fill out where it was like your inseam and eye color, and you're like, this is boilerplate nonsense. And when I became an agent, I said I want to be my agent. The emails that I get, I want that to be the email that I would receive. On the talent side. So we try to keep it again like how I would like to be treated as a talent. So with the slating, I just kind of give you guys open rein. We never say it has to be this or it has to be that or whatever. But sometimes now the clients insist. They say, it has to be this, and if it does, then we tell you. And if you don't do that, which a lot of times talent don't, we put it in red and highlighted background and stuff. You got to slate on this one. I know we don't always ask you, but you got to do it on this one. And half the people don't. Sometimes they're amazing auditions too. We got to get back to them. Listen, man, this is good, or we'll find an old audition and try to steal it from there. But there's 400 more coming in, and again, talent could screw that up. But as far as if the client is asking you or the agent is asking you specifically to slate like one way or another, then friggin' slate that way, man. Otherwise, I'm old school. I'm like 1,000. I don't buy that tail slate thing because nobody listens to the end.
Yeah. Wait, say,
I
wait a
think
minute. No, why do you say no one listens to the end? Are you suggesting
I don't listen to the end. I promise you, I've never listened to the end of your demo. I've said this for 100 years. Like any voiceover demo could end with agents eat puppies, and it would make no difference whatsoever because no agent has gotten like all the way to the end of your damn demo. We've already made our decision. And I haven't gotten to the end of your audition. If there's 3 takes and it's just impossible. We can't listen to all that stuff. So having a slate at the end, whatever. I say, and this also maybe shows my age because things change or whatever. But the way God by gum, slate in the beginning, say and quick, man. Don't make us wait for it, because now you're going to piss a client off because they got 400 more to listen to. Your name, what you're reading for, and then quickly how many takes.
So you don't want my life history. You don't want me to talk about how much I want to do this spot because I used to go to that store when I was young, and it means so much to me.
Occasionally we get that and it's cute. They're like, we use this product every day and we love it. And you go, all right, okay, that's fine, leave it in. We have mutual friends, by the way, that for some reason, like every time they'll wait like 5 seconds before they slate or between the slate and the whatever, or they do the like, Bob Smith reading for. Oh my God! Everybody hates you now. They hate. It doesn't matter how good your read is because now you're. Come on, man.
And to me, it seems so simple. I tell my students, well, slate your name. If it's a character thing, maybe slate your name and the character you're playing. Give them half a second.
Maybe in character, maybe not in character.
Maybe in character, maybe not. But half a second at the most, and you're into the spot. And some people want to hear, this take 2, give it a second, half a second or second, take 2, half a second or second to the second spot. Usually I go for second, just enough time, but not too much time because we get bored very quickly now. 2-3 seconds. I know sometimes I've clicked on a YouTube something or other, and there's some stupid commercial that I got to listen to for 4 seconds, and it annoys me.
Dave, now imagine that commercial that you have to listen to, but you have to listen to that same commercial being read 200 different ways in a row, and think about how your ears are going to fall off. After the 10th one, they all start to sound the same. So if you get to the 11th, and that slate is something wacky or different, it might wake you up. If you get to the 800th of those, because casting is dealing with that many people, because they asked everybody under the sun and they put it on a pay-to-play or whatever the hell they did, and the guy goes, so I've got a few, forget it, man. They're just going to hit the next.
So something short
So
and
be quick.
something short and entertaining on your slate could be okay.
Just be quick. And
Yeah.
I like if there's a few takes, I always say, let them know, because they might listen to the first one and be like close, but no cigar. But if they know there's another one coming up, they might say, hey, that was close. And the second one might have nailed it. So let them know, 2 takes, 3 takes, whatever. But just for the love of God, be quick about it.
Okay. There's something that we've all gone through, and that as a voice actor, you get that audition. It says we want A, B, C, and you give them A, B, C, and then 2 weeks later you hear it on air and it's X, Y, Z. How much should talent pay attention to exactly what the client seems to want when so often that's not what the final outcome is?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? There's a lot of ways to go about it. There's some folks that just do them. That's it. It's not that they don't have it in them, or maybe they don't have it in them, but they have their read and they do their read, and hopefully you're going to like their read for the spot, and that's not a deal breaker. It's not going to land them every spot, obviously, but
but nothing lands you every spot.
No, exactly. That's the thing. It's all a crapshoot anyway. Either they like you or they don't like you. So Don LaFontaine didn't have 5,000 voices that he did. For the most part, he did his thing, man, and he did all right. So that's not a deal breaker. If you want to do, you want to do you, that's fine. But you got to realize that you is not going to be right for everybody. And then there are the folks who are the opposite end, and they overextend themselves and they try to go out for everything. And you go, are you nuts, man? Like, first of all, you're about 50 years too old for this stuff. You're the wrong gender. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, you know what? You sometimes send me things that are, looking for a 20-something voice, and I generally just don't buy. As a matter of fact, with all the agents I have, there are a lot of things that come my way, and I go, you know what? It's not me. There's somebody that is exactly that should book this. So
here's the deal. I do that on purpose, again, because, like I said, I wanted to try to be the agent that I wanted. And it happened to me a few times where I would talk to a friend that, was with the same agency, and they say, oh, how did you read for blah, 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 whatever. And I would say, I didn't get that one. Like, somebody at the agency decided that I wasn't right for that. And I'm damn right for that one. I could do that.
Yeah.
And that really pissed me off. I didn't like that. And, felt like, hey, you don't know me enough, And I think I know our people, but now we have more people. And shit, I don't know. You might do an amazing 90-year-old Japanese woman, and I've just never heard it before. You know what I mean? I haven't heard everything you've ever done. I don't know everything that you could ever do. So as long as it's somewhere, close,
somewhere,
we try to send it to you.
You know what? And that makes
And if
sense.
you don't like it, you just hit delete. You go nope and delete, and and that's it. But I don't want to be the gatekeeper that says this isn't for you.
Honestly, I appreciate that, because often I do something that I don't think people would expect from me and end up booking it. So
what am I going to do? Well, he only gets stuff that's over 40. He only gets stuff that's a deeper voice. He only get what? And now you're going, wait a second, where do all my emails go?
While we're on the subject, Lonnie Manella has a question I'm going to put up here. For a character VO audition, if the talent has more than one distinct voice choice, do you prefer them on separate files, how to label that, or on one file? Thanks, Dave and Eric.
That's not my call, man. That's the end client, and they're really not shy lately. I don't know if you noticed. The asks are getting crazy, like you were saying before. What's in your studio? What is this? Now they're asking. We want your credits too. What stuff have you done?
Wow. I haven't seen. They haven't asked for my credits.
This has popped up a few times lately. We're going, wow, man, they're really, it's crazy. We get stuff in, especially for character stuff and gaming stuff, and they're like, you got to send all their home studio info, you got to send their top credits in the genre, and we're like, Jesus, man, to put this together for $250 an hour, whatever they pay for a game. But most of the time, that's going to be the end client. They're pretty specific about put them all on one, or we want them on 10 different files, and they all have to be named this, that, and the other thing, and whatever. And talent are pulling their hair out and blaming me. And hey, look, man, it's not, don't shoot the messenger. That's what the client wants. And you know what? Their name is at the top of the check. So that's what they want. Well, then that's
That's
what
what
we're
you
going
got
to
to
have
give
to
them.
do if you if you want to play the game. So
Okay, got another
yeah.
question here. Theodore Mezzacapo, question for Eric. What's some advice you'd give to someone like myself who has a pro demo but not a substantial resume in getting an agent?
It's another timeless question, man. It's that snake eating its tail thing, catch 22, whatever deal. How do you get an agent without having a lot of work, and how do you get a lot of work without having an agent? And I know it's not fair. It sucks. There are some agents that are interested folks that just sound great. That sound promising. I'm not one of them. We don't stock the pond. We work with pros only. I just don't have time to do that kind of thing. But there's even big agencies that are interested in those type of folks that haven't done a lot of work yet, but they've got that. We could tell after a while, you get that kind of, this one has it. And then they're interested in kind of, working with you and getting you somewhere. And then, they have you.
Well,
It's their
I
talent.
think we find that in LA, it often takes a long time for that agent to get to you. The distance between when you send in that demo to when they listen to it to when they're talking to you may be months because they're busy.
Years. We've gotten back to people 2 years later. Literally 2 years later.
Wow.
Yeah. Now we tell them right on the thing, look, it could be years because we didn't need them at the time.
Yeah.
Then maybe now we do. So
And-
we go,
and
you know what? It wasn't.
I think one of the things people are looking for is that new something special. And generally that is, they may be looking at what the trend is now, and let me find other people in this trend that's being booked. This is somebody that there's something about them that I like. It's not really the trend yet, but it touched me in some way. It's hitting a demographic group that maybe hasn't been hit, or something I'm seeing on TV in the movies that's not being reflected yet in the advertising world. And the thing I always say to people, look, who it is that you are is what they're going to want. There's a certain uniqueness, and you brought up Don LaFontaine, and I have to agree. Don, I'm going to use this term. I don't really mean it exactly this way, but for the most part, you could think of Don as a one-trick pony. He did promos and trailers, and it was his gravelly voice the whole time. But he had so much in that one thing that he did that covered, comedies, dramas, adventure, that he was the most successful voiceover actor ever, and a great guy. So sometimes it's hard when you feel like, well, I've only got this one thing, but sometimes that one thing will just light up a room. Oh, let's see, a little shorty here. Oh, Micah B said, loving this. Let's see, one more. JDK, elephant in the room. What does it take to get repped by the Sheppard agency? And I think you kind of answered that already. You're only working with people who are already working.
Yeah. Not that I'm not a loving nurturer.
Well, we'll ask your wife about that.
This is my deal. Look, anybody who's in my shoes is altruistic as we want to be. I mean, this is business, and we're in it to make a dollar and a cent. So their thinking is, hey, we're getting somebody and we can mold them, and then they'll be, our talent, and it'll work, and et cetera. Okay, that's fine. My thinking is, I've got some clients that are maybe testy or specific or whatever, but they keep me in a late model car, and I've been kissing their ass for 20 years. I can't send them somebody that has no idea what the fuck they're doing, because not through no fault of their own, but just because they're green, because they just started. So they ask, hey, can we get an ABC, or can we do this, or can we do that, or whatever? And they're like, I don't know. I haven't taken direction. I'm peeing my pants. I don't know what to do. I can't have that, because that'll jeopardize my relationship with the client. and that's not good for for the Sheppard agency or the Sheppards. So even somebody who's been doing this for a million years, we're very wary about taking people on, which is why we very rarely take people on, because every person that we take on is a crapshoot. We don't know, are they nuts, man? They seem great, but once they're in session, are they, is there going to be something weird? Is there going to be something embarrassing that happens? And
that's interesting, because I've been in this business a while. I know some really great talent in terms of the work they put out that have been difficult to work with. As a matter of fact,
we've turned down many great talent, big names where I'm going, man, am I going to do this? I know this guy's I don't want to work with them.
Yeah, and I think right now there are going to be more and more agents and more clients that don't want to put up with that kind of mess. I know in the video game world now, come in, do your thing, be pleasant, be easy to work with, or we will find somebody else. It's not like this. This band is going to quit because this one trumpet player decided he can't play along with everybody else. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, look at the animation world is like that. People, talent, and I talk about this a lot because it's interesting. And my wife is in this world. They complain a lot. How come they use the same people and the same animation talent are getting booked on the same thing? Because they know them. Because they know that they're easy to work with. They're, they'll do 2 takes and they're good. And it's Miller time. Nobody's coming home late for dinner. And they like them. That's why they keep booking them again. It doesn't matter that maybe this guy could do it better, or that girl maybe sounds a little bit better for the role. Yeah, if they are trying to do something completely different, everybody's ears are open. But if you could get the team that you worked with last time and change them up a little bit, and that they're great and you work together, and they're not going to give you any grief, hey, great, man, get them again, and let's get it done. So. Be that person. Be cool. Just be cool, man.
Fantastic. Let's see. Got a couple more questions here. James Brown. How? Once you have work, will major agents find you, or do you constantly solicit? I think what he's trying to ask, I think that's probably for me. I don't think you go chasing after talent, do you? Or have you ever done that?
I have, and they thought I was nuts. I had done it in the past. You'd be watching TV or something, and you're like, man, that was great, like a documentary or something. Wait to the end and be like, who was that? Or like trying to look them up or something. And then I find, hey, but listen, I liked your thing and whatever. And sometimes they were like, wow, yeah, that's great. I know you bought. And then other times they'd be like, are you like a real agent? Like, nope, that's weird, because it's weird. I know it was weird.
So basically what you're saying is you've done it, but it's not the ordinary thing that agents do.
No, it's, what it is? Look, man, everybody and their brother, including the guy who just started like this morning, has submitted to us. So like everybody is submitting to everybody.
Oh, look, there's tapes coming in now.
Dude, I could show you just the one inbox and you would be like, are you joking? It's nuts. Now we go through once every couple months because it's just hundreds, and you're just like, how many? This can't be that many people that are like trying to do this. It's insane. There's no shortage of talent looking for a rep.
I think the Don LaFontaine, it's legend, not myth, but legend. Here was a guy making $30,000-$40,000 a day doing movie trailers and TV promos. And people went, wow, well, he's just talking. I can do that. Let me get into voiceover and make that easy money just talking without necessarily understanding how difficult this really is. And even when you have the facility to do the work is getting work. You
the
can
work
say
is so many
things. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The work is so many things, and everybody's been sold this dream. This miraculous dream of voiceover. and most of the time you're being sold that dream by somebody who that's their job is just to get some money from you to follow your dream. And most people are not going to make it. They're just not going to be cut out for it, especially now when millions of people are trying to break into voiceover. It's not for everybody. It's a difficult business. It's a difficult art form. It's a difficult everything. And to think, honestly, there's some folks that feel this way, and occasionally I feel this way. Now I'm just jaded and I don't care about nothing. But for a while, you'd almost get ticked off. Like, who are you? You think you could just, people would kind of show, oh, I could do this. Oh, man, like, this is a real thing. This is, it's not, that's like, show up in the operating room. Yeah, hold on, I could do this. I've seen this on TV. It's just sewing and cutting. Like, get out. Like, I know it's not life or death, but this is a very specific art form that people literally devote their lives to. I know because I've done it, and I'm talking to somebody who's devoted their life to this art form. This is not something to be taken lightly. And anybody who, any unscrupulous coach, which is why we have millions of people trying to get into this business because they're selling them, pixie dust that tells you, hey, I could work with you for a week or two, and then we'll make you a demo, and then you're going to be a star, and they're lying to you, man.
Oh, I have seen a number of advertisements on Facebook, on various places. Hi, I'm so-and-so, and I make my living doing voiceover, and I can help you get into the voiceover. Did you know you can make X amount of dollars with just one commercial? How does that sound? And on
Fiverr.
On Fiverr. Oh, yes, I've seen that too. Let's see, we got another. Oh, boy. Yeah. Luc de Villars, my French buddy, had him on as a guest. Really great guy. Hello, everyone. Little question here. Is it more complicated for an American agency to work with a voice actor who is in another country or Europe, for example? And also, why do agency ask sometime for a French Parisian accent? There's no such thing since the 50s. They don't know.
Yeah, no, we're Americans, man. We don't know. Americans don't know the difference between like a British accent and an Australian accent, or the difference between any of the different British accents. Or then you throw in like French or French Canadian as opposed to like French. No, we have no idea. No, we don't know. So if they want like French or just be Frenchish, and then they'll be happy.
Well, he actually is French, we became friends on Facebook. He's a voice actor, and he's only been doing this for about 5 years, but he's having some success. And one of the things I like about him is he reaches out to help other people with projects that clients of his are doing, kind of like you at the Sheppard Agency. Yeah. Let's see. Another question here popping up. Hello. Is that going to let me know? For some reason, it won't let me put it up.
But as far as the American agencies working with folks overseas, not all will. Some folks, especially on the coast, big New York agents or LA agents, sometimes they still, even today, want local folks. But we've always been happy to do, as long as you could kind of work with us with the time zone thing, because most of our clients are American, and so if you're in the opposite time, it might have to be early morning for you or late night or whatever. But if you can accommodate that, look, I'm looking for the best French talent or the best German talent. If they happen to live in France or Germany, which they very might well live there because that's where they make them, then I'm happy to rep you if you're the best. Yeah. So
and we even have some American talent that are living overseas as well. Maya Aoki Tuttle, do you find that adding improvs for animation video game auditions is helpful for getting booked, or is it annoying? I've been told both. I'm gonna give my perspective on it. I typically will tell people, look, give them one read just the way they asked for it. And if you can knock that out and you've got some other ideas and some things that aren't taking it too far afield, go for it. Especially in commercials, people love when you've got a little improv in there that makes the funny commercial funnier. And don't believe it's always, just popped into somebody's head. I was in a session with a guy a number of years ago, and she said, "So you guys ready for another take?" And he said, "No, wait, I'm writing out my ad lib." And when we did it, it was great. So yes and no. If it's not working, if it's not improving, don't do it just because it makes you comfortable. Do it because it actually adds to what it is they're doing. And you're probably going to do okay with animation, some video games, and commercials, but keep it short and make it useful. No, I ran my mouth. Your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much the same, you know. If it's an actual commercial session, you know, and read the room. You know, sometimes they want to play around, and other times they just, you know, they're trying to get through this, you know, 5 roles in this spot. And now, you know, your first take, you're trying to be cutesy.
Yeah.
Like, don't, you know, give them. And then plus a lot of times, you know, that copy, whoever wrote the copy might be on the line, and they're like in love with it. You know, every word is poetry as far as they're concerned on this toilet paper commercial. And then it also might have gone through legal like 8 times. So you can't mess with anything, because then they got to go back and whatever. And, you know, read the room. If they're fun, if they seem like fun folks, a lot of times they are. Yeah, you know, have fun, play around. That's a, you know, great way to get called back. But now if it's, you know, if it's gotten to the point where they're like, can we just get a take and get to lunch, and like, don't be, you know, that guy who's like, I'm a wacky fun guy. Like, yeah, all right. There's a time and a place.
We're not ready for a wacky fun guy right now. You know, something that I've run across numerous times: mistakes in the copy. Do you correct them? Do you just try to read it as it is? Sometimes they're more clear than others. You can tell. I know sometimes when I'm rewriting something, especially on the computer, and you say, oh, well, I want part of that sentence, but I'm doing and then you'll read it back. Oh, I forgot that word, or this, that, or the other. Should we correct that ourselves, or just try to give it the way they asked for it?
If it's in the audition, you know, I mean, we've got plenty of stuff. We have to rush so fast to get auditions out, because sometimes it's not just coming to us; it's coming to you know, another agency or whatever, and then we'll get emails back. Sorry, but this one got it forwarded to me like 2 seconds before you, and you're like, so oftentimes we don't have a chance to proofread, you know, everything in the script that we're sending you. But sometimes there's little goofy things, and if it's obvious, you know, then fix it. But if it's like a live session, again, you have to be careful, you know, but ask nicely. Just say, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused, you know, what this is or what that is. Because again, you know, there could be somebody in the room who's married to this, and they could be an idiot. They could have they could have written the wrong thing. It could be wrong. It could be whatever, but you don't know. You know, I've heard too many horror stories about talent being like, yeah, I don't know, it's just the script doesn't make any sense, and
I'm going to rewrite it.
Like, yeah. We had a talent once, years and years ago, who was dropped immediately, who offered to rewrite the script, like wanted to upsell the client during the session. I was livid for like a week. I was going to put holes in the walls. I was going to kill this person. It was amazing. The client, fortunately, was like, dude, do you know what happened? And I was like, crawling into a hole. Again, one of the reasons, you know, we only take on, but this woman was insane. Anywho, you got to be careful.
Let's move on from that. And what do you think the future of voiceover is? I know we've got
robots.
Well, I was going to bring up AI, and they're getting better and better with that. I don't think it's going to kill us off, but I do think it's going to take some jobs. And we also, our prices are being dropped. I don't think we're making as much money on gigs as we used to. A lot of that, the number of people getting in, but also the pay-to-play sites. Your thoughts?
I mean, all of the above. You know, the rates are the biggest problem, and how quickly and how drastically they've just gone down the tubes is outrageous. It's absolutely amazing, and there's a lot of factors involved, from the union, who didn't really do much about this, to just the surge of 8,000 talent. There's a lot of hobbyists. They don't care. They'll do it for beer money. You know, they're not worried about putting their kids through college in voiceover. So that doesn't help. The pay to plays, where everybody's kind of scrambling to, this race to the bottom. That certainly doesn't help. Now there are agencies out there, not talent agencies, but production houses and stuff out there that are doing union and non-union. And I said, well, hey, you could do it either way. You could do it union, and you could pay this, that, and the other thing. You could do it non-union, and you could do this thing called, we just kind of put it in the contract, and nobody really knows what it means, where it's all cuts, versions, lifts, edits. And so basically, we'll pay talent for one spot, and then they get an entire campaign. You could just take it and cut it up later, and you turn it into 5 or 10 spots.
Yeah.
The clients go, wow, that's great. Well, is there any way to get it lower? Well, we'll see. We'll put it out lower. And then talent would take it. And then we'll put it out lower. Let's try lower. Talent would go, So now you get to a point where talent are starting to panic a little bit because they're going, man, I don't have as much money in my pocket. Where's all this? I used to be rich. What the hell happened? I better start taking these jobs that I said I wasn't going to take because they're too low. And then that's it. That's the new rate. If they're paying $10,000 and then they put it out for $1,000 and all the same people audition for it, they get the same caliber, even the same people. Why in the world would they ever pay $10,000 again? They're not going to. That's the new rate. Is now $1,000. That's it. If they put it out tomorrow for $100 and you do it for $100, now $100 is the new rate, and it's never going back up again. That's it.
One of the things I notice now, as we hopefully are coming out of the pandemic and they're trying to get people back to work, people are not going back to work for the kind of money that they were being paid before. Do you think some of that might spill over into the voiceover world where we can start bringing our rates back up?
Like I said, it's very difficult. It's tough. If there are enough folks, but that's what we've always tried to do. That's what we tried to do with the Voiceover Agent Alliance, even, was just trying to tell agents, hey, listen, man, we could put an end to this. As agents, we could all say, we're not taking this. We can't do, this usage for this amount of money. And a lot of agencies went, no, we're just going to do it anyway. A lot of those agencies are out of business now. But even, some massive voiceover agencies are out of business. So it's very difficult to toe the line when there are others who just won't. And they look for that opening. When you say, hey, I'm not going to do it for X amount of dollars because that's hurtful to the industry, there's somebody who doesn't care about the industry and says, well, I will. So hopefully you're a lot better than that. Yeah. And it's worth it for, for the client to pay. But you can see where that's, becomes difficult. At the end of the day, we're a vendor to most of these people. And plus, back in the day, most of what we do is commercial work. So we do everything, but I'm coming from that standpoint. Ad agencies had, and any production house, there was a little more loyalty. And it's not like that anymore. People jump around, the producers jump around. Sometimes a company is using 10 or more and also doing some stuff in-house, and you're trying to figure out, wait a minute, we're doing Amazon for them and them and them and them, and that one used to work for that one, and now they're there, and it's crazy. And so they all have to kind of battle each other to give the best rate as well as the best creative. And how are they going to slash the rate? They're not cutting their own salaries. They got to, well, I don't know. What's the best vendor price we can get? And we're vendor number 8. There's the lighting guy and there's whatever. And then there's the voiceover guy. And, well, I don't know. Let's put it out for less. See if we get any takers.
It's a battle.
Yeah. There's so many factors. It's tough. But if you stand up for yourself, that'll help. It's the only thing that's going to turn it around, is just, explain, hey, listen, this usage is not worth this, and know what the rates are. Go to the GVAA guide and know what you're supposed to be charging if it's a non-union project. Otherwise, hey, look, tell them to go union.
I also, I try to get everybody to go union, but I also suggest that, yes, base your rates off of the GVAA or the union. And have a rate sheet. So you don't get into that conversation of, oh, what will I do it for? Oh, what is in your budget? No, well, this is what I would do this kind of work for. You have a rate sheet that they can look at. Going to blow through some thoughts and questions here. Paul Matthews, VO, don't worry. I love Erik. Okay. Alton Hoover, greetings, Dave and Erik. AI. Emma O'Neill Hart, God, I love you, Erik. Love your realness. Wow.
Well, I love Emma too.
Al Moulier, VO, your honesty has kept you in business, Eric. You do you. Jared Breschers, nobody wants to work with an asshole. So true.
Well, we're done here, I guess. It's curtains for us.
That's why I love you. JDK, Jared. Oh yeah, that's Jared for the win. Al again. The work is getting the work. Stellar words. Thanks, Dave. You are welcome. Micah B side. Thank you, Andrea. Ale. Any recommendation classes in Bay Area, Dave? I see your class at Voice Tracks SF has already finished. I have commercial credits in LA, but I'm starting over in San Jose SF, and I will send me a note and we'll talk about it, or visit my website and you can book me, or just send me a note and I'll let you know what's going on. Micah B, someone had to say Fiverr. Yeah. Eric is the number one best at adding his agent's notes on auditions, which can be so very helpful. You got a lot of fans here, my friend.
Wow.
Lasers and spaceships. Jared, I have no idea where that's coming from. Micah B side, love this knowledge. You're just a thankful guy, Micah. Maurice Scott, hey Dave and Eric, this has been great. Thank you. Well, we still have a few more minutes. One of my pet peeves, sometimes they try to get too arty with scripts, and I'm not talking about the verbiage, but the graphics, that they'll put everything in big letters until you get to what you actually have to read and say, and it's in it's small letters, and it's slightly... it's not in black, it's in some gray that melds in with something, and it looks great just looking at it, but you can't read it.
Yeah, and the things like in a PNG format, and so you can't copy anything.
Oh.
And
Well, go ahead.
It's becoming more common lately. I was bitching about it on one of the socials or something too. They're all trying to make the script pretty, the whole creative thing. So they make this 4,000 page PDF. And then sometimes I'll take one of those pages and then send it to us, and literally is a PNG, which is like, are you kidding, man? Talent are trying to pull it into this and that, and whatever. There's programs that you could have that'll like take a picture of it and kind of translate it. And now Apple's going to have a new baked-in thing, which is awesome. But they tweak a little bit every once in a while. Something will be a little off, so you still have to kind of check and make sure it translated right. But yeah, that's the new thing, man, and it's the worst. Back in the day, the problem was just that they didn't really write for us. They weren't writing for the talent. They weren't writing for the spoken word. It seemed like a lot of times they were writing it like it looked good on the written page, but they just had no idea
what it would sound like spoken.
Yeah, we all cut our teeth. Maybe not you, but I cut my teeth doing like crappy radio commercials.
Oh,
and
no,
they'd have
I did a million of them.
Yeah, like millions of them. And there'd be like the phone number is in there like 5 times in a 30, and they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. Like, no man, that takes a long time to read. They're like, well, on the page it only looks this big. Yeah, it was 7, 8.
Every one of those numbers is a word.
Yeah, right. Like you say it, and this is more like a 60. Yeah, no kidding. So, they're writing for the page, but now they're writing, like you're saying, that formatting is because it's part of this whole flowery package. And we ask them now sometimes, look, do you have something clean for talent? And sometimes they're like, oh yeah, hold on, it's right here. Talent are like, thank you. Or we try to clean it up, but yeah, that's the new thing, man. I don't know if it's going to go away.
Yeah, one of my pet peeves, and this has nothing to do with your agenting, but I'll be working with students, and they're reading scripts off their phone. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Your eyes may be younger than mine, and you can kind of see it, but you're here. Now your body isn't free to move because you got this thing in front of you, and sooner or later it's somebody, they may not know what it is, but your read's not going to be quite as good as it might have been.
And you're not reading ahead either. You could read probably a sentence or two ahead because you just see it in the periphery and you know what's coming up. And if you got to scroll to get to it, There's no, I mean, that's a huge skill that you have as a talent is reading ahead. You don't get it with the little scroll.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't know.
Hey, if we're unloading our pet peeves, I've got one for you.
Okay.
Because this happens constantly, and it's another one, and then I'll just be cathartic to bitch about it. So many talent are like impossible to contact. You guys make it so hard. I live like in my email, like 24 hours a day, almost literally. I mean, I'm always available and I'm always looking whenever I could always be contacted. And I know that that's kind of sick and crazy, and I don't expect like everybody to live that way and be nuts, man. But for the love of God, like you have to check it often. So when there's talent, and I understand, you know, look, you're in another session or you're busy or you're having lunch or whatever. But if you make it a huge chore for somebody, you know, when we've got a phone call in and an email and a text, which is really like a bit much, I shouldn't have to do that much, you know, and you don't get back to us for 24 hours just because, you know what, you lost the job, man, because, you know, a lot of times you got to scramble. We had 2 projects today that we had to scramble that, you know, talent didn't know. One of them, talent was already in a session. I knew they were in session because they were in session for us. And somebody else was like, can we get them like right away? Oh, okay. And, you know, if she wasn't responsive in getting back to us, I mean, it wouldn't have happened, you know, but they needed it today. So they would have gone with their second choice. Be easy to find if you're, you know, be easy. If somebody's looking for you to hire you, like, don't make them, you know, have to look under rocks.
Yeah. Jody Krangle, I'm always near my email. It's gotten me jobs just by replying the quickest.
Well, Jody gets the jobs because she's freaking Jody Krangle.
She's great.
She's amazing.
Yeah. Lonnie Manila, how important is it to audition within exact times of a 30 or 60-second spot?
Good question. Again, that's just my opinion. My opinions are usually fact, but it's my opinion. I tell my wife
I like my opinion.
Like, that's funny. Everybody's opinion now is like worth whatever. I won't even get into it.
Worth the paper it's printed on.
Sometimes the client will say specifically, you know, because they know that it's copy rich and, you know, that they just shove too much in and they want to see what it sounds like if you get all that crap into a 30. But my thinking is always don't, unless they ask, like, don't ruin the thing by rushing. You know, if there's too much copy in there, you know, first of all, most of the time in an audition, you don't have to read the whole thing. So act. Give them the best read that you can give them so that they're impressed and they, wow, that's incredible, and they book you. And then when they have you in session, if they want to ruin that by making you go, blah, 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 that's their prerogative. Again, their name's at the top of the check. So if they want to screw it up, you know, by being, you know, worried about getting too much information in or whatever, and that takes away from the read, again, that's their prerogative. You're just the talking monkey, but get the job first. So give them the read that sounds the best, and then get booked, and then, you know, see what happens then. That's my thoughts on it.
The talking monkey. I love that. You got a lot of respect. You got a lot of respect for talent there, Erik. Talking.
Well, you know, like this is, you know, I come from being a talent too. That's, you know, that's it. We're there. Any actor, any, you know, on-screen actor, we're there to do. It's not our vision, is what I mean. I mean, I joke around it, but you know, I certainly am not disparaging to anybody in this industry. But it's not. This is not our vision. It's their vision. Do what they want. Do what the director wants. If they want to do something dumb, that's their prerogative. That's fine. But yeah, read the script as well as you can without worrying about cramming it all in.
You've said a lot of important things today. I think one of the most important was the availability thing. Be where you can, and I know for me, and I keep my agents all in a particular folder that it's called Auditions. So anything they say, and I'm always checking that folder first. Because you don't want to miss those. And sometimes you're in a gig and you're working on some other auditions or something, and you don't get things as timely as you might like, oh, geez. And what's up with the now? We're sending this audition out at 11. We need it back by 12.
Man, I don't know. If we get something on Monday and they say we want it back on Friday, we're going to tell you Wednesday. Because by Friday, the thing's already in the can. It's done. You know, like, you don't give talent that long, but you got to give them a little bit. When they say, turn around, and I have seen it, a few of those, and then we got to scramble, and that's when they're looking for good enough. I mean, really, it's nuts. But if talent are there, then they're willing to jump. Then they could do it. Sometimes they are, and again, sometimes they're not. But yeah, man, I know way too many talent that we just know. And a client's going, I need avails on this one and that one. And I'm going, well, it's going to go to this one because I'm not going to be able to get through to this guy forever because I'm going to send 2 voicemails and 3 texts and an email. And tomorrow they're going to be like, oh, dude, I was in a thing and then whatever. And no, sorry, man.
Well, listen, Erik, I promised you an hour, 7 o'clock. Just, the bell just sounded.
Okay, bye.
Any one last thing that you want to share with voiceover talent about how to keep their career going, pet peeves you might have, or anything?
To kind of revisit a little bit what we were talking about before, the most important thing that I could tell voiceover talent is, voice strong, stand strong for your, for your worth. Know your worth. Don't let them really just undermine the industry by taking advantage of you. Understand what usage is. Understand what proper pay for proper usage is, and expect it, and make sure that you're getting it, and make sure that you have an eye for, which unfortunately everybody has to do now, to kind of see, hey, are they trying to take advantage? Because often it's it's not everybody, and I don't want to say everybody's terrible, but look, some people, sometimes it's not even their fault. They're just looking for a deal, and that's fine. But if you're in this industry, you have to protect this industry because it's it's your own future, for God's sakes, and everybody else's future. So be cool.
There you go. Well, I think people would like to give you a round of applause. Erik, hey, man, I always love talking to you. We don't do it nearly enough.
I know, you're lucky.
And there it is. There's the singer. But thank you for joining me, and we will do this again. I'm going to get you on, at least once a year when we're doing this. I
like doing it, man. Yeah, I like to. I got my own special little room with the lights and everything, and I'm all.
Oh, you got the great gray background there. You could do some on-camera auditions with that thing.
I got this, man. I got all this stuff. You know what it is, though, man? I'm telling you, I'm like, I got to get some plastic surgery. I'm just like everybody else. You've been seeing yourself too much.
No, you live in Texas. You live in Austin. You don't need plastic. In LA, you need plastic surgery. New York, maybe.
Yeah,
Vegas,
for Texas, I'm like Brad Pitt.
Erik, bye. We'll see you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thanks.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Erik Sheppard, the Sheppard Agency, great guy, knows where the bodies are buried, and such good advice and so much fun. Want to thank him again. And if you came in late, you missed it, this will live again and in perpetuity, a word we don't like as voiceover actors, on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. If you're interested in voiceover coaching with me, you can stop by davefennoy.com and book yourself. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. And by the way, for the next 2 weeks, I will be off from Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. I'm going to be doing some traveling that happens both times on Wednesdays. So won't be able to be here for 2 weeks. Fear not, I'll be back after those 2 weeks doing the same thing here, having fun, hopefully giving some information on Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. So in the meantime and in between time, as usual, book something.